Go to the edge of the cliff, Ray Bradbury once said, and build your wings on the way down. It's my pleasure to welcome Ray Bradbury.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before I begin, how many of you students here this afternoon read me in high school? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. No wonder I'm here. You're all my children, aren't you? Yeah. This is the sort of event that fills me with great love, because I never made it to college. When I graduated from high school 65 years ago, my family was very poor, so I got a job selling newspapers on a street corner, making $10 a week. And I went to the library, though, and I stayed there. I went there 3 or 4 days a week for 10 years, and I graduated from the library when I was 28 years old. So if by some terrible incident all the buildings on this campus were destroyed except one, what would it be? The library, huh? And then if all the buildings were gone, all the professors and all the students would meet at the library, because that's the brain, that's the center. And if I have any advice to give you today, it's number one, starting this afternoon and from now on for the rest of your life, you're never again to watch local television news. Huh? Okay? It's all crap. It'll turn your brain to mush, huh? So, and when you do it, don't bother to call because you can't get a real person at the station, but write them a letter and tell them what you're doing. They've got to pull up their socks and do better, huh? So I wrote an article for a magazine a couple of years ago called The Ambience of Despair. We live in the greatest country in the world. We've done magnificently over a period of many years now. We've done a lot of wonderful things. But to believe TV, if you watched it for 1,000 nights, you want to kill yourself, huh? We're no good. We look down upon ourselves. We look at all of our sins, and we forget to celebrate the things we've done right. So watching TV can be a very dangerous thing because you begin to believe what they tell you. It's just not true. We've got a wonderful record in the last few years, ending with our landing on the moon, of course. When I was a child, I dreamt of someday our going to the moon. It seemed quite impossible, but by God, all of a sudden, we did it. I envy you your lives because you're going to live to see us go back to the moon, and you're going to see us colonize Mars. You're going to be around. You won't be that old, and we will colonize Mars and begin to live out the life I described in the Martian Chronicles when I was very young. I envy you that. I wish I could be with you when that happens. Now, why are we going to do this? Why is your future so fantastically good as far as I'm concerned? I was offered a job by the Smithsonian Institution a couple of years ago to write a new show for the planetarium. They put on a show about the universe, the creation of the world, and of humanity in the world, and they took me in to see the show. Well, within 10 minutes, everybody in the planetarium was asleep. Huh? You could hear snoring all over the place. And so the Smithsonian people took me back to their office, and they all stood there looking at me, and they say, "What are we doing that's wrong?" I said, "My God, man, you're teaching instead of preaching. You can't teach with this. It's a cathedral. A planetarium is a cathedral of space, the cosmos. It's fantastic." I said, "Get the hell out of the way and let me do a show called The Great Shout of the Universe, of life coming alive on this world. And just get out of the way and let me do it. So they hired me to do a job for the planetarium. I turned in a script which was 32 pages long. They sent me back criticisms of 28 pages. So I called them on the phone. I said, "What's wrong?" They said, "Well, you got this wrong, and that scientific fact is incorrect, and something else is wrong over here." I said, "What's the one thing, the biggest mistake I've made that irritates you the most?" They said, "Well, you got a thing in there about the Big Bang occurring 10 billion years ago." I said, "When did it occur?" They said, 12 billion years ago. And I said, "Prove it." Well, that killed our marriage right there. And after I rewrote more, I said, "What do you want me to do? You want to go back to boring people? My job as a teacher is to make people stand like exclamation points. And if we put on a good show here, they'll leave our classroom, the planetarium, and they'll go to the library and they'll get the book, or they'll buy the book. But you have to make them read it in the first place. That's my job, to jump up and down and yell and say how great it is to be alive in the universe." So this went on for another week or two, and finally I called them. I said, "It's no use. This is a very bad arrangement. How much do you owe me?" And they said $17,000. I said, "Give me $7,000 and let me go. Huh? We're not going to make it. You promised to take me into the woods. You never have. And so let me go." And they let me go. They paid me, and I came out to L.A., and I put on a show down at the Air and Space Museum about the windows on the universe, saying all the things I want to say about creation. So next time you're down at the Air and Space Museum in L.A., you'll see my show down there. But what did I want to say? What do I want to say to you? Have you often lain in bed late at night, all of you, I'm sure you have, or during the day, and said to yourself, what in hell is life all about, huh? Why are we here? Why are we doing what we're doing? Sometimes it seems without purpose. There's no end to our desolation at times. So let me give you my ideas on this. In examining the universe and the Big Bang Theory, I said to myself, well, what if there never was a Big Bang, huh? That's an impossible concept to begin with. The universe goes 10 billion light years in that direction, and in that direction, and in that. There's no end to it. Now, what if the universe has been here forever? That's just as impossible as the Big Bang. And the thing is, we're here, aren't we? We're here. Now, why are we here? Shall I tell you why? There's no use having a universe if there's no audience. You are the audience. You are here to witness and celebrate, huh? That's your job. You are beholden from this day forward for all of your life. You've been beholden for the gift. You're only going to be here once. You're not coming back. So from this day forward, you've got to pay back, huh, for this incredible gift of life. And you are the audience then to this miraculous surrounding. Call it what you wish. Creation, cosmos, God, whatever is convenient to you. It's totally impossible, but here we are. You are totally impossible, but here you are. So my business in my lifetime has been to witness the miraculous, and it's all, can you imagine this blind world creating life, and then at a certain point, it desired to see. There were no eyes in this world billions of years ago. And out of blind need, blind need, these creatures that came up from the seas developed an eye. Just you look at the eye, what an incredible mechanism it is to look upon the universe. So your job from here on is to be witnesses, as I am a witness, and to celebrate, and the good and the bad, both. Look at both. You don't ignore them. And then pay back in your lifetime. People have often said to me, Ray, are you an optimist? I said, no, I'm not. I don't believe in optimism. They say, are you a pessimist? I said, no, I don't believe in pessimism. They said, then what the hell are you? I said, I'm an optimal behaviorist. I'm an optimal behaviorist. I demand of you from this day forward to live at the top of your lungs, with optimal behavior. And from doing that every day of your life, you get a feeling of optimism, If every day you fill it with the passion of the thing that you want to do, that's optimal behavior. And if you stop doing that, then you feel pessimistic. So at the top of your lungs. Now, those of you who haven't found a madness, I hope most of you, on one level or another, have found a madness to live by, Whether it's creating life, as women automatically can create life. If you wish to create life, you create it. If you wish to create other things, create those. If you haven't found your madness, then get you to the library. Cut out the internet with all that crud, No more internet. No more talking in chat rooms to morons 1,000 miles away. There are enough morons surrounding you, aren't there? Why do you have to get in the chat room with them? To hell with that, We have been victimized. I went to a library a year ago and signed the signature book, the guest book, and the head of the big computer company was there ahead of me, and I wrote under his name, I don't do Windows. I don't own a computer. I don't get email, poor me, But put me in a room with a pad and pencil and people with 20 computers, and I'll outthink and outwrite them on the spot, We don't need a lot of this stuff. We've been convinced that we need a lot of things we don't need. I am not a Luddite. I'm not a Luddite. I believe in space travel, and I believe in going to the stars. Now, the final thing here in our witnessing and celebrating is this. Why do we want to do this? Why do we want to do this? So that mankind can live forever. If we make it back to the moon, if we go to Mars, if we then move on out to Alpha Centauri, our children's children will live on other worlds 1 million years from tonight. Your children's children will survive. That's the reason for space travel. No technological reason, no political reason, no military reason. There's a human and religious reason to touch the universe and to occupy it. With all of our lives, with all of our sins, with all our excellences, with all the things we've done wrong. It's not going to change them, but everything that we've done right too. That's what space travel is all about. Now, I want to recall a night I had in London 32 years ago. I was invited to the David Frost show when we landed on the moon. I wanted to go over to the show and speak on space travel and tell the reasons that I've just told to you, the immortality of mankind, to live forever or 1 million years, whichever comes first. And I got over to the David Frost show, and we landed on the moon at 8:30 on Saturday night that evening, London time, and David Frost prepared to interview me and put me on the show. He did an introduction about an American genius. I said that had to be me, of course. And then he introduced the next guest, and it was Engelbert Humperdinck. Well, he came up and sang his stupid song. In the meantime, smoke was coming out of my ears. And then he introduced the next American genius, and it was Sammy Davis Jr. Well, that was great because Sammy's a nice guy, very talented, but I'm sorry, it was not a night for Engelbert Humperdinck and Sammy Davis Jr., huh? I walked off the show. The producer came running after me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm leaving the show." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because this man in here, that stupid jerk, has ruined the greatest night in the history of mankind. We've been waiting to go to the moon. We've been dreaming about the moon. We wanted to touch the moon for millions of years. And tonight, we finally have done so. Huh? So I'm not going to be on the show with him. I despise him. Get me a cab and get me out of here." They got me a cab. I went across London. I did a show with Mike Wallace and Cronkite on Telstar around the world. I was able to say the things I wanted to say that I've just said to you. And I stayed up all night. I did 9 shows on 9 different programs, and I cried all night long. I was so happy. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, I walked back to my hotel, and standing outside the hotel, I saw a little London newspaper with the most wonderful headline. It said, "Neil Armstrong walks at dawn, Bradbury walks at midnight." Thank you very much. Thank you.